What up guys, Gary's Fitness here. So today I'm gonna talk about my HIIT push-pull leg structure. I have videos for each workout, for push, for pull, for legs, so go check them out. And this video is more like to tie everything together and give you an idea how to structure that plan, how long it should be, what is the right frequency for you. Let's get right to it. The frequency of that plan, I have 3 frequencies. You can do 6 on, 1 off, which basically you do from Monday to Saturday, day off, then you repeat. It's easy, you know exactly what days you work out, and then you know that you have 1 day off on Sunday. Every Sunday you're off. Now then you have 3 on, 1 off, which is different. You work out 3 days, 1 off, 3 days, and then you repeat, but you can see that the days will change throughout the weeks, and also you will rest once, then you have 2 rest days. So you're gonna have to count with the fact that you're gonna work out on different days every single week basically. And then you have the 2 on, 1 off, basically the same, but even with more rest days. Which one to choose? Well, it's really up to you. If you do 6 on, 1 off, you will work out each muscle group every week twice. So that's a big benefit, but it will sacrifice rest. And for example, I tried this and it's too much. I don't recover well. It's just too much. So for someone who can recover well, it's perfect. But if you do not recover well, or if you need the extra rest days, I would say 3 on, 1 off, or 2 on, 1 off. Personally, I prefer, when doing this type of split, 3 on, 1 off. So you have those additional rest days between each PPL. The choice is really up to you and up to how well you recover, and if you can tolerate this much intensity 6 times in a row with only 1 day off. Now, the rest times, I spoke about it in the videos already. 15 to 30 seconds, you can go down to 10 if you want on some exercises. I go by how I feel. On most exercises, I do 15 seconds on most. I think it's the golden standard. Your body is ready to jump right in, but at the same time, you're not doing excessive amounts of reps, because if you go to your myo rep and you do 10 reps, you didn't push the set before that enough. So 15 seconds, I do some that is 20 seconds, and then I do some that is 30 seconds. That's mostly squats because it's so demanding that when I try to do 15, I was too gassed, 22 gassed, 30. I still have high heart rate and I still breathe heavy, but I am able to actually do at least 3 to 4 more reps. So that is something to consider. If you do exercise and you only do 1 or 2 reps, increase the rep time, but do not increase it above 30 seconds, because then you're getting in the territory of basically doing a straight set. Have a short rest and then do another straight set. So don't do that. Stick to those 15 to 30 seconds. Now, intensity, I spoke about it many times. 0 reps in reserve or failure. This is extremely important, because you only do 1 set and then you do some myo sets, but you have to take it to the deep waters with every single set, since you're really doing a low volume workout. Now the volume, as we already spoke about, 1 set per exercise, always 1 set per exercise, X amount of reps. I will talk about the rep range later, but then 1 to 3 myo or drop sets. Now you can choose. You can even mix these 2 together. You can do 1 myo rep and then do a drop set, or you can do just drop sets, or you can do just myo reps. You can use drop sets if you don't want to use the same weight. You want to maybe give your joints a break, so you use lower weight, but you still reaching failure or 0 reps in reserve. So that's when I would use drop sets. Training block length. This is quite important. With 6 on, 1 off, it's easy. 5 weeks, you do each workout, each push-pull legs 10 times. If you do 6 weeks, you do it 12 times. So it's very easy to know when you start and when you finish. With the other 2, it gets complicated. That's why I don't use like, okay, this training block when I'm 3 on 1 off is 5 weeks, because then it wouldn't make sense. It would be, you would do less workouts probably on one muscle body part than the other. So I do it like this. I do either 10 workouts per muscle group or per workout, push-pull legs, or I do 12. And the same applies in here, 10 or 12, because as you can see, I calculated it, and it's, if you follow this 10 times push-pull legs, then in here you would come up to 5 weeks 71.71, here 6 weeks 0.43, and some ridiculous numbers on this side as well. So if you decide to go for these two, then I would suggest just doing 10 or 12 of each workout. It's gonna be easier for you to track it, and it's gonna give you the same amount of workouts as if you did a classic 6 on 1 off. All right, so my recommendations: 6 on 1 off, you do 1 set every time you do 1 set, X amount of reps, depends which rep range you choose, and then you do 1 myo rep and 1 drop set for the whole training block, because the frequency of your workouts is quite high. You work out 6 times in a row and then you have 1 day off. I would suggest not to push the volume too high and really focus on increasing the weight and increasing the reps on those straight sets. And when you increase weight on the straight set, obviously you will increase it on the myo rep as well, and really try to progress this way instead of adding more volume. Or you can just do it that week 1 to 3, you do 1 myo rep and 1 drop set, and then week 4 to 5 or 4 to 6, you gonna increase to 2 myo reps or 2 drop sets. Now this where it gets a little interesting. 3 on 1 off is somewhere between this and this. This is the middle ground. This is the one I would recommend the most. And we start. In here, I don't have it in weeks. I split it in 3 parts of the workout, of the training block. So the first part is training 1 to 4. So you do 1 to 4, which means your first 4 trainings basically per each muscle group or per each training, push-pull legs. And you start with 1 to 2 myo reps or drop sets. So this is your starting point for the training block, the first 4 workouts. And then you go to 5th to 8th workout, so that's another 4. There's the second part of those 4 workouts where you actually increase the volume. You go 2 to 3 myo reps or drop sets per exercise, and then 9 to 10 or 9 to 12, depends what you choose. You do 3 to 4 myo reps or drop sets per exercise. Now, this could be too much for someone. If you are having issues with recovering throughout the training block, you can always reduce the myo reps or drop sets. You don't stop doing the exercises, you just reduce the amount of myo reps or drop sets. You can use the lower number, or you can just stick to from here to here. You're gonna just do 2 to 3, or you can shorten it. You can also do just a short workout cycle if it's too much for you. You can play with the volume. That's what I'm saying. You can play with the volume. You can always lower the volume. I would like you, if you can, and if you don't have issues with recovery, to stick to this. If you do have issues with recovery, then you can lower it. Now, 2 on 1 off is a little different. I would like you to stick to this more, because you have a lot of rest days in between, so you should be able to recover and do this type of structure throughout. You don't have to do 9 to 12, you can do 9 to 10, but you should be able to go from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 to 3 to 4 myo reps or drop sets at the end of your training block. If you do have still issues, obviously lower the volume. I'm not saying you have to push it. No, you lower the volume, but maybe you should consider a deload week. Maybe you've been overtraining for how long and this is just exacerbating it. Then take a deload and then come back to it, and you should be able to go through this structure without any issues, and then you deload. Now, as you can see, there is always like a little range: 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 when it comes to myo reps. So I kind of divided into large muscle groups and small muscle groups. For large muscle group, 1 to 2 myo reps or drop sets, And for smaller muscle group, I would stick to 1 myo rep or drop set. But this applies for the start of the training block, not for the whole thing. For example, here we do 2 exercises for biceps, but we start only anywhere on this. We start only with 1 myo rep. And then obviously you increase it into 2 and then into 3 if you want, or you can stick to 2. It really depends how you recover from the workout. Whereas with some exercises like lats, we start, or I start personally, you don't have to, but I start personally with 2. So for example, T-bar row, do the straight set and then do 2 more myo reps. And that's at the very beginning of my training block. And then obviously I would increase it to 3 and then 4, or I would do 3 myo reps and 1 drop set. You can also use 1 to 2 for small muscle groups. For example, your side delts. That's where I would always start with 2. It's an extremely important muscle group. It can take a lot of beating, or you can start with 2 on muscle groups that you want to bring up. So even if it's your biceps, you can do 1 exercise of the 2 with 2 myo reps, and then you can do the other one with 1, or you can do both with 2 myo reps at the very beginning of your training block. But you just always have to consider the recovery part. You have to be able to recover and be fresh for the next workout. I hope this is all understandable. And then the last part is rep range, 8 to 12 reps. This is really a individual choice. I chose the higher rep range, mostly 12 to 15 and 15 to 18 reps. I also have some 10 to 12 reps. I chose the higher rep ranges mostly for my joints. I want to give my joints a break, but you can definitely choose lower rep ranges, but I wouldn't go too low because you do not want to be too close to failure with heavy weights. I don't think that's optimal, especially when you push in so hard. So I would say the lowest I would go is 8 reps, but the highest I would go 20. Because then you're just doing reps and reps and reps and reps. Unless you really have something with your joints, or you really want to go with high reps, because you can build muscle in higher rep ranges. We all know that, 20 to 30, no problem. So that's really up to you. But my recommendation is to stay somewhere between 8 to 20 reps. And it's really up to you what you choose. You can do 1 training block like this, the other training block like with a different rep range. Guys, I hope this is all understandable. If you try this workout, let me know your results. I see you later.